So this video is going to be a quick introduction and overview of the mobile game Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. However, in case you've already looked at the video description, I want to address the elephant in the room because this is the first time I've ever done it. Yes, technically this is a sponsored video and thus I have to list so in the video description. However, I believe in full transparency, so I want to point out two things. One, I was playing this game before the offer came across my plate. In fact, some of the footage that I'm going to showcase as I talk about the game are things that I had already recorded before I even knew that this promotion was going to be a thing. Number two, the amount of money, if I make any at all, and there's a chance that I probably won't, the amount of money I'm going to make, we're talking is like tens of dollars. So this is actually going to be like a from the heart introduction and kind of overview of a game that I've been playing a lot over the last like 2 weeks. So I just wanted to let you know that this isn't like one, the start of some massive trend. I'm not going to just be doing sponsored videos. Legends is still core to the channel, it's still where my heart is. And number two, it's not like I'm getting massive amounts of money to pitch this because I'm not, and like I said, I'd be shocked if I make anything at all. So yeah, but because there is the chance that I have to list that it's sponsored. Full transparency, yada yada. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and take a look at the game and do the quick introduction. So Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is a mobile game. It's available on iOS and on Android. I'm playing mine on my Samsung, and like I said, I've been playing it for a couple of weeks now. You may or may not know this, but I am a giant RPG nerd. I love the Final Fantasy series. I love a ton of other series as well, but Final Fantasy in particular has a special place in my heart because it's the kind of game that I used to play until like 3 or 4 a.m. at night, and then I would like lie to my parents and basically say I went to sleep when I hadn't. It was the sort of thing where I remember very specifically, like if I couldn't get to a save point, I would leave it like playing in my room, but I would just turn the TV off but leave the PlayStation on so that I could return back to where I was playing when I got back home. Just all sorts of shenanigans and good memories from my youth about Final Fantasy games. So whenever new ones kind of pop up, I typically give them a try, right? And Brave Exvius has been around for a while. This isn't necessarily a new game, but when I switched jobs and got a new phone and I did some things, I started looking for new, basically ways to like spend my time and have those like quick time sinks on my phone when I wasn't playing the other games that I play, right? So I gave this one a try. My first impressions are that it feels very much like Final Fantasy, right? Like if you've played any of the other games, you know that there are certain things that just stand out, right? The characters. So in this game, it centers around 3 main characters, though there are plenty of others that you can get, and I'll cover that a little bit later. But the 3 main characters of the primary story for this game are Rain, Laswell, and Fina. And the characters, again, feel, in many ways, Final Fantasy plot and Final Fantasy story is almost, like, cheesy in a sense, but to me, it's, again, that, like, nostalgic, good cheesiness, and all of that is certainly present in this game. You know, Raina and Laswell are knights. Fina is somebody that you meet who has lost her memory. I'm going to speak in broad generalities because I don't want to ruin anything for people, but let's just say that the characters in the plot are very, very much Final Fantasy. There's chocobos, there's Moogles, there's all the things that you would expect. There are espers, the things that you summon. In fact, we'll put up a clip right now. One of the cool things are that you also have like cinematic breaks. So Final Fantasy games are known for like their cinematic cutscenes and things like that. And so like in this game, when you summon an Esper, there's like a cinematic cutscene, and I again felt like this was just a very Final Fantasy feeling thing. It was very true to the franchise. Even the music, right down to the victory theme. So let's talk about the different modes of play, and I say different modes of play because at its heart, this is still a free to install mobile game, which means there will be things that they do to keep you coming back, and there will be some ways that they try to monetize it because it's free to install, and we'll cover those, but there are modes of play beyond just the story. That being said, I really enjoy the story. Like I was saying in the intro portion, it feels very Final Fantasy. You know, there's dialogue and a linear progression, but not truly linear. So it starts off kind of on rails, but then you hit a point where, just like any other Final Fantasy game, you'll meet people that give you quests, and those quests will either have you backtrack to places that you've already been, or go to new places that aren't necessarily along the path of the story. And again, I'm trying to talk in generalities because I don't want to ruin anything for people if you have not yet tried the game, but you know, some of the side quests do lead to items, they do lead to espers. It's a lot of fun. Now, outside of just the story mode is all of the different things that they do to kind of keep you coming back, right? So number one is what they call the Vortex. This takes place on the far plane where the King Moogle is. These are things that have limited time events. They have additional story events. These are where you earn typically high-end rewards, right? So like endgame stuff, fight special bosses. If you've played an MMORPG in the last decade, or you know, World of Warcraft or anything like that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These are your endgame raids. These are the carrot on a stick, if you will, to keep you playing the game. There's new items, new units, all sorts of stuff that you can get from them. That being said, they still make them pretty accessible to new players. So they have like beginner level stuff, intermediate level stuff, so you might not be able to do the ultra endgame stuff if you are a new player, but you can still experience some of the content because they will gear it towards a lower difficulty for you, and I thought that, that was, you know, actually a pretty nice design choice on their end. So beyond just the Vortex, there is also an arena and a Coliseum. They're kind of two peas in the same pod, except for the arena is against players, actual people, and the Coliseum is against the AI. Now, both of them have good rewards, and especially with the arena, as you can imagine, there is, just like all other competitive games, there is a meta that people follow. There is a ranking system. The ranks reset both like weekly and monthly, and then you'll get rewards as a result. The Coliseum is the only part I've done so far because I'm new. I don't really have faith in my team, if you will, because when you make a team in this game, you build them from units, and so these are one of the things that you chase, right? Units are characters. Some are specific to this game, and some you may recognize from other Final Fantasy games. So you can get, you know, Riku from Final Fantasy X, or X-Death, or you know, so on and so forth. You know, Lightning from Final Fantasy XIV is an available unit, and each of the units have different abilities and stats, and so that kind of leads into that whole meta game that I was talking about for the arena. And this is another one of those carrot on the stick formats because people want to be competitive, right? And so you get better loot, better characters, so that you can perform better in the arena. Another kind of game mode, but not really, but it's another thing that keeps you coming back, is this expeditions. So expeditions are quests where you send your units and then they're gone for a period of time, and when they return, based on the units you sent, you have a % chance for success and you will earn rewards. The units that you send do also gain experience points, which is kind of nice because if you've got like a main team or a main couple of teams, this is a way to get experience for your other units that you may not be using right now, but you know, if the meta shifts or something like that, you need a special unit for a special boss, etc., etc. Your other units will have gained experience, hopefully, from going out on these expeditions, and they'll be ready to like hop right in, right? You won't have to sit and grind and level them up. So I like the expeditions. I think that's kind of a cool gimmick. Just like you would expect, there are also daily quests. So there are daily quests that reset every day on top of your normal story mode quests, again, to be that kind of carrot on a stick, keep you coming back. One of the ways that they try to monetize it, as you may have imagined, is in either acquiring units, right? So Summoning a unit is like opening a pack in a card game, right? The results are random. You can purchase them with an in-game currency. You can also purchase them with real money. And so if there is a unit that you really want, you may have to open a large number of packs, if you will, right? Summon a large number of crystals to maybe get that unit that you really wanted. So that's one of the ways they monetize it. They also can kind of monetize it in that you have an energy. It replenishes over time, but you use energy to go out on quests or fight in certain scenarios in the vortex. And if you run out but you want to keep playing, again, you can restore your energy with either in-game currency or with real money. So that's another way that they try to monetize it. Thus far, I've had no problems with my ability to do the things I want to do. So really, the monetization appears to come from the summoning of the units. So that is something else to take into consideration. Ultimately, though the game is very, very Final Fantasy, like I said, I love the story, I love the characters. This game is, in many ways, just a dungeon crawler at its heart, right? Like, you get units, you get gear, you go, you fight a dungeon, you get better gear, you go into the next dungeon, you get better gear. This is, in many ways, it's like the mobile version of Final Fantasy meets Diablo, right? It's not like that action RPG. It is the turn-based RPG style of Final Fantasy, but again, it's kind of at its heart really a dungeon crawler. So anyway, that's like the quick overview. I've been playing this for quite a bit now. It's been my #1 time sink. For a while I was kind of Magikarp jump crazy, but that's worn off because I keep hitting the end game and then we're waiting for long updates. This game, however, seems to be getting updates pretty regularly. It's already been out for a lengthy amount of time, so I'm kind of playing catch up, but I think this is going to be my #1 time sink for a while anyway. I like the franchise, I'm enjoying the gameplay. When Test Legends hits mobile, I'm sure I'll be playing that a bunch on my lunch breaks and things like that, but unlike card games where I have to dedicate enough time to like finish the game, if you will, this is my quick time sink, right? Or my mindless time sink. Not to say that it's like fully mindless, right? Like, it's not, but it's just not that, I don't know, that competitive card game type mindset. So yeah, I just wanted to share it. Like I said, I was filming footage to share the game, just to see if anyone else was interested, and then I got like the weird thing that came across. It was like, hey, share with people, and I was like, okay. I'm Charmer in game, so if you do start playing, feel free to add me. There are benefits to actually having people on your friends list. When you do things with your friends in the game, you earn friend points, and the friend points can get you free basic summons, so there is entirely a reason to like max out your friends list. So yeah, absolutely. If you're playing the game, hit me up. I'm Charmer in game. Let me know what you think. I'm enjoying it so far, and yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you next time.